Hey, um, bit about me. My name's Lee Atwell, and I've been an alias modeller for the past 10 years in the car industry. And what happened to me is I was working in Coventry at Jaguar Land Rover at the time, and living in Leamington Spa in the UK. And one night, a load of people um, were coughing outside my house, and I couldn't get rid of them. I'd keep going out there to go and get rid of them, and they'd come back, and I'd sort of go out there again, they'd disappear, and they were just coughing and coughing and coughing. And then it started happening around Leamington Spa. It was happening at work to me as well. So eventually, like after about 6 months, just totally got to me. It was ruining my life. I didn't want to go out, didn't want to go to work. It's really horrible. It sounds like not that much, which is why they do it. One of the reasons. And so I thought, well, I was there for 6 months. I thought I've got to get out of this place. I'm just going to try and lose this weirdness. So I got a job at Tiva in San Francisco, down there in Menlo Park, and same thing happened again. But they were definitely at the airport. They were coughing at me in the airport, and got to Ireland. And I jumped in a taxi to Belfast. Went into Belfast and binned my mobile phone. That was quite good because, like, on the way to San Francisco, I didn't get harassed at all. And for the first bit in San Francisco, I didn't get harassed that much, So it was like very, very low amount, hardly at all, To the fact that I think it was just actually like genuinely people coughing. Um, so I got a mobile phone again, and then it started happening like big time again. And it was happening to me at work. People walking past my desk all the time coughing, And there was quite a few people there doing it. And so I didn't like that job anyway. It's too many hours because I was doing like long hours as well. It was like 12-hour days, and they were coughing at me all day. Just ridiculously stupid. And so I left that, got a job at VW in Santa Monica in LA. And same thing again. People in VW were doing it. People in Santa Monica were doing it to me. It's basically followed me out here, So now I've left that job, and that's the position I'm in now. It was a few months ago that I left that job, but yeah, and I've just found out that what it is, this gang stalking. So I want to talk about that for a bit. So gang stalking is something that was invented by Hitler in World War II. As a psychological warfare technique, and it's very good psychological warfare technique. As I've just told you, it's just basically like really disrupted my life quite severely, And the goals of it, they want to make you like commit suicide. They want to make you lose your job, lose your life, your friends, all that. It's a really evil thing, They often come in twos, so you'll have a perpetrator and a handler. The perpetrator is the one who'll do the harassment, and the handler is someone who's like controlling it, sort of like a bridge between that and someone. There'll be someone. The handler will be talking to someone, as well. Okay, why do they do it? Well, there's a lot of talk about the RH negative bloodline because it seems to be a lot of people who it's happening to RH negative, and I've checked myself out because I was a blood donor, like in Leamington Spa, and I'm a negative blood as well. So it's like a lot of people talking about it, and that just happens to be me as well. But actually, I don't think that's why it's happening to me. I'll be talking about that in another video. Yeah. So so basically what it is, if you check out the negative blood type in YouTube, a lot of people took a lot of videos there talking about it. It was basically what it is if you're RH positive, it means you've got the rhesus monkey protein attached to your red blood cell, and that's one of the reasons why scientists know that we're from monkeys. But if you if you haven't got that, then you've got negative blood, and scientists can't work out where they come from. Like, there's no protein there at all. So like, there's a lot of conspiracies and that, like that we're aliens and stuff like that, which I don't believe at all. Basically, I believe that the negative bloodline is just a mutation of the positive bloodline. That red cell has just lost the rhesus monkey protein. That's all that's happened. You probably could argue that it was something alien if something alien was there, but there isn't. There is something that isn't there. That protein has just disappeared. But it used to be there. So it's just like this crazy. It's all about the Anunnaki and stuff like that. Okay. So what to do? Well, there's a few things you can do. One of them is evasion. I've developed a few techniques, So with your phone, obviously it's something that I've realised that if you haven't got a phone, that's really effective to losing these guys. You can take the battery out of your phone if you want to keep it with you. That works. Or you can leave your phone at home, or you can not have a phone. And I suppose, the last one has its drawbacks, which are quite a lot, and then you haven't got anything to protect yourself with if something bad happens as well, which I think, I'm not sure if that's a good way to go. It could be quite risky, because it's definitely like some proper evil behind this, so if you disappear, you're not on the web or anything, no one can keep tracks on you. You could easily disappear physically, and that's quite scary, that they could do that. So, I think a good safe middle of the road way is to have a phone, and then sometimes take the battery out, and sometimes don't take it with you, especially if you get in a crowded place as well, where nothing bad can happen to you. You can not have a phone, because you just keep around people and you're not going to get stuffed in the back of a van or anything like that. You've also got music with your phone as well. Okay, so you can, if you're being like harassed in the way that I am, where they're using like the sound, to make you feel angry and get you like stressed out, then and what you find though is if you listen to an album, they might make that sound in between the songs, because they can monitor your phone. Your phone is really key to this working. I don't think they'd be able to really do this that well if people didn't have these phones. And I think the fact that everyone's got smartphones now, that's really like made this phenomenon be possible. This organised stalking, Okay, yeah, and but with your music as well, what they really hate, and what I used a lot at work especially, is to listen to mixed music, mixed dance music, because there's no gaps in between it. If you've got an hour-long mix and you turn it up, you're guaranteed you're not going to get harassed. But if you listen to that stuff and you are getting harassed, especially at work, you'll often find when you're doing that, they'll disarm you by like talking to you, and then as soon as you get your headphones off, they'll probably leave you in a good positive state, and so that you leave your headphones off, and then they'll start again. So if you're working somewhere which has been compromised in this way, it's really hard to deal with, but it's a great place to gather evidence. It's sort of, I wish I'd worked out what it was happening before I left my job, because I could like get some really a much better, even better evidence than what I've already got. But luckily, I have got some evidence, you know. Okay, so you got a disguise as well. You know, I've always had like a lot of luck losing them by not having my phone with me and then wearing slightly new clothes or different clothes. You know, if you've got the resources, you know, especially with these second-hand shops coming about, you know, if you really want to like make their life hard, you know, give them a jacket and get a new jacket out of one of these stores, you know, save your money, or even, you know, if you've got the resources to do it, it really works. Like the other day, I gave them the slip quite well, and what I did is I went out with my phone, and I knew that they would know that I'd gone out, so I let them know that I'd gone out. But when I'd come back, I put my phone down, took my hat and my jacket off, and went straight back out. And they, of course, they assumed I was in, and I was left alone for about 2 or 3 hours, which is like a long time for me when I go outside. You know, if I go outside without my phone, I can get left alone for normally about 3/4 of an hour before someone will see me, or they've worked out that I've slipped out, you know, and start harassing me through following me and stuff, you know. Okay, so gathering evidence. The way to do this is not to use your phone. Don't put like you know, voice recording software on your phone that you're going to use and stuff like that, unless you want the abuse to like unless you want to reduce the abuse or even get rid of the abuse. Because if you record on your phone, they'll know that you're doing it because they're so into your phone. I pulled a bit of a master stroke off with this because I went to Staples and bought a recorder. This one here. I bought it with cash because I know that they'd know what I bought if I use my card. And I recorded 4 days worth of their like really deliberate coughing, you know, their gang harassment, you know, on me. So I've got like 4 days on there, and that was a master stroke because this is VW Design Office, and I've got evidence, you know, that was going on in there. So yeah, when you do it, and if you're going to like film something, if like they're doing visual stuff to you, like following you in your car or something, stuff like that, which is one of the things they do, sort of like deliberately follow you around and park next to you and stuff like that, then you need to use cameras. You know, get this stuff on film, because what they want you to do as well is look mad, you know, so that when, you know, imagine me like just going to the police station saying, oh, people are coughing at me in the street, you know, it just sounds funny or a bit insane, but it's actually like a, you know, a really horrible thing. It's a technique, you know, yeah, it's really effective, you know. Okay, so what I'd say is at work, you always get the same people doing it. So that's great evidence, you know. If you can like film someone who's just doing like harassment, the same harassment, like with me, it's coughing, yeah. I get him on film doing it like every day for 3 months. You know that he hasn't got a cough for 3 months, you know. That's deliberate harassment, you know. And even though like the term gang harassment is fairly new, I suppose, at the end of the day, if you like ignore all those terms, this kind of harassment is illegal. The reason they do it is because they think they can get away with it, because they think you won't say anything because you know that they're going to sound mad. So one of the things you've got to do is really talk about it a lot, you know, and things like that, because what they want you to do is shut up, be tortured by this silently and end up killing yourself or something like that, or being incarcerated or getting in a fight with someone, you know, something like that, and hurting yourself, you know. So what you need to do is like expose it, talk about it, things like that, you know. Okay, so you got the other thing is the approach, which is something that I've been doing a lot, which is really good technique to use, and like you should really experiment with it. Okay. So the reason that it works is one of the reasons is I find it totally de-weaponises harassment, because I'm not having the last word. And if like in the beginning I ignored it a lot because I thought it was some kids who like just had a psychology book and they just read some technique, you know. So my first strategy was to pretend like it doesn't work, and I thought they'd get bored and go away. But that will never work because they know that this works. This is a well-known. The people have been doing it for decades, and they know that it works. So that won't. So like suffering in silence, it will never do anything. Okay, so what I find is when people cough at me, obviously I get a little bit of an adrenaline thing, you know. It makes me a little bit angry, you know, and stressed. It puts me in the fight and flight, you know, state. So if I leave it and go home, it'll be running through my mind, you know, and that's how it attacks you, you know. And I'll be regretting not doing something about it and not confronting him and things like this. But it's always difficult to confront because, like, especially with me, that person might not necessarily be a perpetrator at all. It could be just be someone coughing, like, innocently, you know. And it's just not the right way to do it. So what I do is I go over and I'll befriend them, I shake their hands and that, introduce myself, and I'll start telling them about gang stalking, what the intentions of it, what the goals are of it, and I try and just educate them that it's an evil thing, because I've got a funny feeling that a lot of handlers and perpetrators don't know what they're doing. They don't know the damage that they're doing, and they might have been harassed into it themselves, you know. And there's a good chance that we're just being played off against each other, like, you know, the targeted individuals, the perpetrators and the handlers were all being played off against each other for no reason, just for the entertainment of some obviously was quite powerful, who was quite rich, you know. So I like to go over there because I'm also like keen on trying to like turn them against this organised harassment, you know. So, you know, if you speak to someone, even if they're not a perpetrator, you've like clued them up about organised harassment, because I think that's the most dangerous time of it, is in the beginning when you don't know what's happening to you, and it's really scary and horrible, you know. Now I know what's happening, I feel really strong, because I have understanding of the game, you know. And you know, I'm really looking forward to sort of like coming up with some techniques against these people, you know. And I quite enjoy doing it, really. Yeah, so I'll tell them about it, and I'll let them know that it's evil, and I'll tell them that if they're getting harassed themselves, they can come to me, and I will be their friend, you know. And I'll let them know that I love them, you know. And that the reaction is really good, you know. It's a really good reaction. It's non-threatening. It's coming to them in a brotherly way, and you're going to be making friends. You're always going to be coming away from there with probably a new friend, you know. You don't want to sort of go over to someone, make an enemy out of them. Might not even be harassing you, you know. It's like I've been watching about a lot of harassment in cars, you know, people getting tailed everywhere and things like this, you know. Okay, so the approach, it's a great technique. I'm going to be filming some of my approaches in the future. Okay, what not to do. Don't do anything aggressive, because that's what they want you to do. That's part of the program, you know. And all that'll happen is if you react in an aggressive way, you know, you'll be in trouble, you know, because you don't know that they're a perpetrator. And you're probably just like ruining any chance of you being able to prove it, you know. Remember that whenever you get evidence on this, that's what you've won. You've won because you're another step closer to getting rid of them, you know. Okay, and don't do nothing, because like I said before, it will just carry on. They'll carry on if you ignore it, and it will be eating you up inside. I know, because it happened to me. I haven't considered suicide more times in this year. It's just unbelievable. The amount of times that I've thought about killing myself is probably about 100 times in this past year. And before this, I hardly ever thought about it. But now, I actually like wake up in the morning. I'm like, I know what I'm dealing with. I know what I've got to do. You know, there's people on the internet helping you, people like me and stuff. You know, and there's loads of other people out there who've got techniques. You know. Okay, so I think, you know, we need to be forming groups as well. We need to be forming groups. Probably start a campaign. Start going up to Washington and start talking about gang stalking, writing some letters to Trump and the other people there, and say this is out of order. Because I'll tell you something else. If this negative bloodline thing is true, there's loads of United States presidents have been type O negative. There's just loads of them. We've got loads of friends in high places, you know, and we just got to reach out to them and like show them that it's happening, and ask for something to be done about it, you know. Yeah, and we need to be educating each other, obviously, as well, you know, and letting each other know who's been. If you're being like gang stalked, just do a video on your phone or something and post it, or put a reply to this video, and it just lets other people know that you're out there and you're being harassed, that you're not alone, you know. And if anything happens, you know, you can there's other people you can get in touch with, you know. Okay, so that's that for now.